Yay!
Hello, we are live. Hi, everybody. Rachel will be joining us shortly. She might pop on in a few minutes, and then we'll see if Samantha joins us. But it's okay if not.
Oh, yeah.
It's Father's Day, by the way. I don't think we realized that when we were planning everything. It's Father's Day.
I didn't even think about that.
But today's book, like the full length, is perfect for Father's Day.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So happy Father's Day, everybody. Today we're going to talk about 3 books. We're going to talk about the last 3 books, a part of the Spindle Cove series that are currently out, because I'm still waiting on more.
Did she say she was going to make more for the Spindle Cove series?
Well, there is one that's been in the works for years. It's been on my most anticipated releases every single year for the past 3 years.
And this is not the bride bet. This is not the bride bet we're talking about.
No. This is Love Letters from Lord, which is about Sally Bright. It's a novella about Sally Bright, like the owner of the daughter of the All Things shop or whatever.
Yes, Pauline's best friend, right?
Yeah, the one who owns the All Things shop. Yeah. And apparently that book was supposed to come out last year and the year before that, and the year before that. Right now it says January 1st of 2024, but we'll see if that comes out.
Oh, gosh.
It's
That bride book says too. I think it's just auto doing that. It's just
it's the bride bet situation, so it's okay. I'm hoping and praying.
It will be coming. It will be there. It will happen.
Yes. Say hello.
Hi, everyone.
Hey. Oh my gosh, this is great. This is great.
These last 3, I was just living. I binged them. I did all 3, and I listened to the audiobooks for these ones. The other ones I was doing physical and audio. These I just listened to the audiobooks. They were all on Hoopla. I loved them. I really did.
Is it Eva Kaminsky? She's terrific.
Yeah,
I really like her.
She's really good.
Yeah.
I feel like historical romance narrators, 95% of the time, are the most talented audiobook narrators. They are so good.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Hello. Okay, so we have 3 books to talk about today. First, we have Beauty and the Blacksmith, which is a novella. Then we have Any Duchess Will Do, which is a full-length book, the last full-length book in the series. And then the book 4.5 is Lord Dashwood Missed Out.
Is there a step back to that, Avery? Is there a step back?
Her novellas don't have step backs.
Oh.
I have a few of her novellas and none of them have step backs. So, yeah. But look at how pretty. Goodness me.
Lord Dashwood, yummy. Yeah, love it. Love it.
Okay.
Ashwood.
That's right. Yes.
So do we want to talk about the first book first? Y'all let us know in the comments what y'all thought of Beauty and the Blacksmith. Who wants to get us started? Oh, also I didn't do channel introductions. Oops, it's been a long time since
My name right down.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, just right
okay,
there.
You don't know. This is B and this is Tiffany. I love them both. They are couples.
We love
them. This has been so much fun. First time reader of everything. I loved reading it with everyone because this series is everything. I just love the whole concept. And Dawes, oh my gosh, this one, her breaking things just to see him.
Yes.
I'm curious to see everybody's rating, in the comments, because I rated this was just 5-star Glee for me. I loved it. I rated it 5 stars. I don't know, it just made me happy. So at first I was like, oh, it's 4 stars. I was laughing out loud. The play, just everything. It was 5 stars.
The play was great. Yes. I did 4 stars, but I'm terrible because with novellas, I'm like, oh, I needed a little more. But I was 4, but it was close. It was great. It was a great book. Yeah. What about you, Avery? What did you?
I gave 5 stars. It's probably, I have an order now. This is probably in my top 3 favorite books of this series. So, yeah. But I love it. I loved rereading it. I loved these two characters because I think I told y'all too, like it gives me those vibes of, oh wait, B, you weren't here last live show.
I missed it.
So I said that here for this book to remind you of, I don't know if you've seen Cinderella 2, like the second Cinderella movie. That's like
is it
when she's yeah.
Okay. Cinderella 2?
Yeah.
It's one of those direct to DVD ones from like the mid-90s.
I don't know. There's 3 Cinderella
movies in my house a lot, but I don't know it offhand. But it reminds me of Cinderella 2. I'm sure I'll be watching it again.
Okay. Break down really fast. Cinderella 2. She's in the castle with the prince, and she moves into the castle, and there's 3 tales that happen. Blah blah blah. One of the tales is about Anastasia falling in love with the town baker, like her stepsister Anastasia. And so like that storyline of Anastasia falling in love with the baker gave me Beauty and the Blacksmith vibes so hard.
Yes!
Except, like the heroine in this one's not mean, so like that's the only thing.
Oh, she's such a sweetheart, and her mother is a riot. I love her. I know. I mean, like her mother is a riot. I'm like, I could write like a little short story about her mom finding love.
Yes.
Just, like finally, I mean, like the sisters coming together to find her a hero just to get her off their backs. Like I have it all in my head. Her mother is a riot. I mean, I know she's meddling and she is just so ridiculous, but she does it out of love and she is out of hand. Even in the last novella, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's out of hand.
She doesn't want to stop.
No.
I'm like, what is the story there? Because I'm like, that's gotta come from a pain point of like, I've got to make sure that my daughters are secure, and I can't think of anything else. I don't know if she love is lost. Like, I'm just so curious. The cooking scene.
Yes.
When the eel goes out the window.
I know.
Oh my god.
Great. Can I even tell you how happy it made me during the at the very end when part of the happily ever after was him getting a home cook, like hiring a cook. I was like, yes.
I'm like, that's love right there. I'm like, that's love. He knows who he married. Okay, this is help. And the way that she was so stressed out about like he needs a wife that can do these things and I can't do it, and when she just starts breaking, and he's like, whoa,
yes,
whoa, you're perfect.
That's why I love him. Oh, I love him.
Yes. I love him too, and I love the class difference. And how about? Oh, it's okay. I feel you. I gave it 5 feel-good stars. It made me laugh out loud. It made me swoon, and like even the hilarity of them thinking that she was stealing from them. That kleptomania.
Yes.
And the rat.
Yeah, I'm like, what is Tessa daring these animals? It was the rat. I'm like, what's going on?
And that girl being like, no one understands our love. My parents don't understand our love. It's because it's for a rat.
I'm like, Tessa. What was it? The last book, it was the rattlesnake, and he got bit. I'm like, they are. It's almost like their Spindle Cove is like, it feels like the countryside as well. Because everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to think if what about, oh no, that's the governess game again. Never mind. We'll get to that. Again on that one. Stop bringing that book up. Wrong show. Go right.
I don't know. It's she does that comedy so well, and it's like physical comedy too. And
she's just so funny. She's so funny.
Oh
I laughed out loud when she was like, he could count the number of lovers on one hand, his hand being the most familiar lover of all. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Right? I'm like, what in the Secchi's commercial is this? I love it.
She just makes me laugh so hard. I love it.
I love like what you said. Oh, here's Rachel.
Oh, yay!
Yay! Back from New York.
I wish I could
yeah. We're talking about Beauty and the Blacksmith.
Yay! I got my books all set up.
Oh,
yes. Oh, look. Oh, it looks so nice. Oh, I love it.
So what are we talking about?
What's your rating, Rachel? What's your rating?
So Beauty and the Blacksmith is the only one that I changed my rating upon reread. The first time that I read it, I gave it 4 stars, and this time I gave it 5 stars.
I love this so much. I love it.
Oh. Well, ever since Avery, when you said in the last live show that this novella reminds you of, what is it, Cinderella 2?
Yeah, we just talked about that. She got beat all up to speed.
Yes.
We've never seen Cinderella 2, apparently. So we need to remember
the house. I know it's on. I'm gonna go look for it. I'm sure after you say this, it'll be on like tomorrow, and I'm like, oh, there it is.
Exactly. Now that you know of it, you're gonna see
know
it randomly.
We watch it all the time.
Right. It's on Disney Plus. So
it's on Disney Plus. We're watching it. In fact, Frozen 2 is on downstairs as we speak. And it was my 9-year-old boy that suggested it. So they all love the same thing. I'll stop talking about my kids in 5 seconds, but he is actually we have all these Frozen bath toys, and he actually he made a movie of, like, he reenacted the entire movie, and now when he says he wants to see his movie.
That's so cute.
He knows, he has the entire dialogue memorized, and then he just spouts it randomly. My favorite is he goes, I can't keep living like this. And I'm like, please stop saying that.
Stop saying that.
I can't keep living like this anymore, Elsa. I'm like, please stop saying that in public.
So cute.
I'm not talking about my kids anymore.
You probably would love Cinderella too.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be on all the time.
Oh, it will.
Yeah. And there's a Cinderella 3, so you can.
I'm sure there is.
I never watched the third one.
Me
either. Well, I'm sure you're missing out.
I know it's the one where it's like an alternate timeline.
Yes, she goes back in time. Like the mother
goes back in time?
The mother does a spell. The stepmother does a spell to where they go back in time to where, like, Cinderella never went to the ball.
This is real.
This
is real. Okay.
Yeah, it's a movie.
It's real. It's real.
Well, I am missing out, just like Lord Dashwood. I am missing out.
Can you tell I'm a Disney freak? Anyway.
I am too. I mean, I grew up with those songs. Like you were saying, like your children memorizing dialogue. For me, it was the songs. Like I would just walk around my house singing the songs all the time.
I love it. I love it. Oh my.
I think she's talking about Diana's mother.
Oh my god. Okay, the moms in this series are so funny.
Yes, they are.
They're hilarious.
The mom from Any Duchess Will Do. I love her.
I love her. I love her so much.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, Beauty and the Blacksmith, I gave 5 feel good stars too, because I was like, at first I was like, this is a 4, and then I'm like, Tiffany, I was laughing. I was laughing the entire time. I was swooning the entire time. And there were so many things where, like, all of the characters were together with the play, with them accusing her of being a klepto. I thought that was absolutely hilarious.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. I was like,
when they're like trying to confront her and she's like, no, I was with him all night. And they're like,
oh, the drama, the tea. Oh my god.
And then the rat comes, like, that whole scene.
Oh, and I love this comment about when they go to the sister's house. Yes, I love that too. Him playing with his, was it niece and nephew?
Oh.
That's the perfect man right there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yes, the kids. Yes, exactly. Yep. Oh, so cute.
Hello.
I don't think
my thing with this novella is that Aaron is definitely, I think, the sweetest hero that Tessa's written.
I would agree.
Yeah, and like just from the beginning, I just get butterflies reading this novella specifically. Like it's just so sweet, so sweet. The fact that she keeps breaking her jewelry to go see him.
Yeah, I would do that. I would do that if I had a hot blacksmith.
I would do that too because I can talk to people. So like,
I love it.
I'm taking notes. I'm like, can I be doing this? Right. Situation. I'm like, well, I should make excuses to go in there. She's like,
there you go.
Yeah.
I love
your writes historical rom-coms for sure. Sorry, Tiffany.
Oh
yes.
Yes. Oh yes. That is such a great point. It definitely and it also has, she always has that like hilarity and the heartwarming factor, like the fact that I loved the beginning where it talks about him having sisters and him loving to be in Spindle Cove and like being able to take care of these women because his sisters are gone. I thought that was so sweet. He's so family oriented.
Yes.
You think of like comments that Colin made, you know, about them not being real men on Spindle Cove, and then you get like a POV like that, and it's like,
yes,
he feels settled there and like feels like happy to be of service.
Yes.
I love it. I love that.
And I also love how we got to glimpse, because we didn't really get that in A Night to Surrender when the boy breaks his leg, and Aaron is apparently there to set the leg and everything.
Yes.
And
Diana's they fall in love.
Yeah, that Diana's there the whole night. And that's when they're both like they realize like their feelings for each other. And like we don't even realize that until their book though. Like, oh my gosh, what they were feeling in book one. Like,
yeah, that's so cool. That's why it's great to read these in order, which I only sometimes do. And then it's so cool to see that, and you're like, oh, another POV. It reminds me of Ice Planet Barbarians, actually, where you get to see it from. I know I won't get started.
True, yeah.
I'm skipping.
I love that he's an artist.
My name, her name's Tiffany. She has purple hair.
That one's
you have to read it. Oh.
Yes, that one's Friends to Lovers. I love it.
I'm just
gonna
gonna
love that one.
I cannot wait for you to read it. I
It's
cannot
so
wait.
Right?
Yeah,
there's so many funny moments that play, and of course her mother's like, "You have to be."
Oh my God! Oh right, the lead. She has to be the lead in the play.
Yes. Because of Evan, is it Evan that she wants her to be with?
Yes,
Evan.
Yeah, the mark list. Yep.
From Kate's book.
Yes.
Yes. I love that Aaron is also an artist.
Yes.
Like he's different, and that she bought like 5 pieces of his, but she's like hiding it, and she's like, oh no, I bought this as gifts for other people.
Yeah.
So.
They're like, what are these trinkets? And then I love that she kept it close to her chest. I'm like, this is just beautiful. They're just so sweet. So sweet. Oh.
Yay!
Do you have anything else we want to say about Beauty and the Blacksmith before we move on to the next book? Are y'all ready to dive in any Duchess will do?
Yes!
I might as well, because I feel like Beauty and the Blacksmith, what more can we say? It's just sweet and spoony, and the perfect amount of like sexiness too, because we did get a couple of those scenes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's such a great little novella, and I'm glad that it wasn't stretched out into a full novel. It was just perfectly done.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was sweet.
Oh yeah, the necklace.
Yes. Oh, so good.
This was huge. Cinnamon Roll Hero.
Sweetheart. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So, book 4. What is everyone's ratings? Leave them in the comments for those watching.
Yes.
What is your rating on Any Duchess Will Do? Who wants to start?
I mean, I gave it 5 stars. First time that I read it, and this time around, I mean, I put this in my Instagram stories. I truly think it's like a perfect historical romance. Like, there's truly nothing that I would change about it. It's funny as hell in some moments. It'll make you cry in other moments. It's sexy. I mean, it's like everything that you want, and you've got side characters like his mother. Like, I just love it.
Yeah.
5 stars also from me. Love that book so much.
I was close to 5. I was 4.5 because there was a couple things, but I don't want to complain about it. But anyway,
we'll talk about it.
Please, I want to hear your thoughts.
I'm like, this makes me sound awful. I'm like, I didn't like it because no, it was just when Pauline sort of starts to out him to his mother about his secret. I was like, oh, I don't know if that was nice to do.
Well, at least it wasn't played off like it was okay. Like that's when things happen in books and the author seems to be okay with it. That's when I'm like, ooh. But it did further the plot. And it I had a feeling it was going to happen. Like when the first time that I read it, I was like, I feel like she's going to spill the beans because he's not. He's not going to say anything.
And it's so exemplar of what can happen in the heat of the moment. She's angry. She's pleading. Yeah. It's like, it's a very human thing to do. So I love that. It's like, but how are we going to get out of the mess? That's when like the character, like a character's character comes into play. And same, I did appreciate that it wasn't treated like it was okay. And it was a valid reason for him to be like, I need a B. Okay.
That's true. That is important.
Something flimsy and like, this is why they're mad at each other. I was like, oh no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to rate everything 5 stars, but I'm not trying to. My mom was like, me again. And I'm like, wait, like, I'm like, this is valid. This is valid. I rated it 5 stars as well. I think Pauline, for me, Colin's still like my favorite hero within the series. Is like neck and neck with Minerva for like my favorite heroine. I just thought she was so interesting to read on the page. She was so complex. I love that she was a servant. Because I'm coming into this new, I knew nothing. I was not expecting her to go the route of a servant and not a lady. And to hear her perspective in the very beginning about just being on like the outer perimeter of Spindle Cove and how she kind of pokes fun at everybody being surprised that, oh my gosh, I came here to convalesce and find myself and I'm married. Like how she kind of pokes fun at that. Like, of course that's going to happen for them. Even the so-called, rejects of society, these are ladies. Like, of course they're going to find men. Me on the other hand, and yet she gets her HEA. I loved that. And my heart broke. I loved her relationship with her sister. The sisterly love. And the rep for that, the historical representation for that too. Yes. Like, this book was doing so much that I loved from the very beginning. And then also I'm like, show us the financial need, honey. Show us, show us that cruelty, show us this other side, which I think she does a really good job at the beginning of this book, where we see the plight of the women, the kind of woman that needs to go to Spindle Cove and the respite that they get and all that's like just so important that they get from this community and this space that they're able to thrive, which they should be getting from society and they don't. They're not being met. And then you get it on Pauline's end as a servant.
Yes.
And I'm like, tell it. So I was just like, oh my gosh, I was riveted from the beginning. And also too, like how he sees her. Yes, like she's all muddy and like, and he's trying to needle his mother. He's gonna get at her. But I love how he even remarks like, she's probably too beautiful for this, but she'll do. I'm like, mud. I'm like, oh my God, he's such a man. He's such a man.
I love how, like, she just knows how to start her books off.
Yes.
All of the books in the series, like, immediately draw you in because of maybe some absurd situation or just something really adorable, like in Beauty and the Blacksmith, or just like, and then in this book, it's Griff waking up. And no, he's like in the carriage with his mother. The carriage.
She drugged.
Yeah, that was crazy.
What? And at first he's thinking like, oh my gosh, someone kidnapped me and my mother. I have to figure out a game plan. And he's like, wait, why is my mom not freaking out?
I love her. I could see that whole scene. Like, okay, now that you're awake, let's get into She is out of control.
She is so funny. Oh my God.
And I love how Pauline could see like the love between them, and she's like, why don't they just talk? Like all of these games and like and like needling and like sparring with each other. They were hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And the way that like I love the relationship between like Pauline and the Dowager Duchess, how that develops, because at first it's Pauline trolling her, and that's funny as hell. And then like over the course of the book, she learns more and more about the Dowager Duchess, and like somebody brought it up about her knitting these monstrosities.
Oh, yes.
When they go to the orphanage, what is that?
Wearing.
What is that? That's the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life. And Pauline is even trying to be like, shut up. Like,
that was great.
Oh my gosh. And I think it's so funny too, because she sees it as like an illness she cannot control, like all the knitting that she's doing.
Yes.
I'm going insane. The only way to fix this is for you to give me a grandchild. Like, there's nothing.
They will use anything. They will use anything. Oh my gosh. Yes, please tell us, B. Please tell us.
I think she was talking about earlier when you were like, oh, I have my reasons for giving
it. Yes. Okay. I was like, wait, what?
With your eyes, you were like, what?
Okay, here it comes. No, I'm just kidding. Glad she cleared. I'm like, wait.
You were so scared. You were like, what
did someone just ask me something and I blanked for some reason?
No, you like, That's the best part about book clubs, though. That's why I love book clubs, because especially like if I'm not just like on a live show, but in the comment section, I'll come to like a book club book like live, and I have my point of view, and then someone starts bringing up just like a certain aspect from their point of view, and it totally broadens my scope, and I'm like, oh wow, I didn't see it that way. That's like
I love this. I love it.
I love that.
I love it. Well, I also had a different perspective, because the first time I listened to this book, I had not listened to any of the series before. In fact, that was my first Tessa Dare.
Right.
This was randomly listened to it. I think it was on like in November. There was a huge Audible sale.
Yeah.
I think it was like $2 or $1. And I was like, I'm getting this. And then I listened to it. And I think that was Mary Jane Wells. I can't remember. Anyway, it was great. But I didn't realize until I listened to it this time that, and I'm going to write his name down. Griff. Hello. I wanted to call him Dash. Wrong book. That Griff is that guy from, what's the name of that? Colin and
A Week to Be Wicked.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, he was like a bad guy from what I gathered. I was like, so I didn't realize. I mean, I didn't really have a sense of, he's like, oh, it's, he's in the carriage. He's like, I didn't realize I was with another woman. And just realizing that this is the same guy from Colin and Minerva's book. Wow, what a transformation. And of course, you know how that happened.
Yes.
So it was so much deeper for me experiencing it again after having read Colin and Minerva's book specifically. But yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy to see him before everything happens. And then we do get a couple of chapters of Minerva and Colin's POV.
Yes.
Where Minerva's like, he's the worst. We need to go save Pauline from him.
I know, they're like, that is so funny when he's like,
that was great.
First of all, we do love your channel, B. I love your freaking intro. You're hilarious. You make me laugh. I get cozy, and I love your channel. So
thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, congratulations.
Okay. That's very kind. Thank you. And I love your channels too.
Your intro.
I truly do. I'm sorry.
I love them. I love them. I love them.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was like, but that moment when he's like, do you want to leave with them? I was like, do you, girl?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
That was like, and then the way he like pushed back on Minerva, you were sitting up here pretending to be like, I dare you.
Melinda. Was it Melinda? What was her name? I don't know.
She goes
pretending to be like a courtesan / assassin.
Yes.
She can't speak English, and the only thing I can remember from that scene is her slapping Colin and going, "You bastard!"
Yes, that's right.
The only thing I remember from that scene, honestly. It's so funny.
I love that there's like a little moment between Colin and Minerva. I'm pretty sure it's in this book where Minerva's like, I'm just so proud you use the scientific method.
Yes.
You're so freaking cute.
I love them
Like
so much.
Like, I love them so much.
Yeah.
And Colin, for someone that wanted to get his money and get out of there, like, I love how he has showed up in more than one book to like, you know what I mean? To like almost be like a protector of these.
Oh my God.
Colin.
I love that. Yes.
Right?
Yes. I had not read that one before either. And I was like, oh my gosh, we're getting to see everyone again. How did I not do this last time? It was so good.
It was so
Seeing
good.
everybody again.
Yeah.
Did Colin take over in 2 weeks ago too? Because Colin just keeps like taking over. Remember how when we met the first time, we were like, anyway, Colin.
I know, right?
And also Colin.
I mean, he's wonderful.
I'm in agreement. But I'm just because I missed the last time. I didn't know if we were also like Colin. Oh wait, it was his book, right? Never mind.
It was his book.
Wait, did you
I love that Colin just steals a scene whenever he's on page? He just completely steals it.
Did you guys? I might be dating myself. Did you ever read the Choose Your Own Adventure books? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes. I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's like if you decide to go through the tunnel, go to page 53. But if you decide to, I don't know, go the other way, go to page 107. Yeah. I feel like if Tessa Dare redid these, it's like Choose Your Own Adventures. But like if you want to go off with Colin, turn to page 7.
Oh,
and 75. Colin. You know what I'm saying?
That would be actually so fun to do a Spindle Cove Choose Your Own Adventure.
Yes. Yes. That's it. Let's do it. Yeah. We'll ask Tessa Dare. We'll do it.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
I did want to mention this comment because I love it too. Pauline and her sister's relationship, like,
yes,
it literally almost makes me cry every time I read it because I love it so much. And even Pauline like talks about like, I've hurt my sister in the past because I was stupid, and I never want to do that ever again. She has been like the only person there for me my entire life, and I plan to do the same for her. And like, I love their relationship so much. And even Griff's relationship with her sister too.
Yes.
Love that. And you even got to see like a cute little scene between the two. Yes. And I swooned over that. He kisses her hand in here like a lady, and I love it. Anyway,
I love it. From the moment he met her, he treated her like a lady, which is what Pauline noticed. Like he didn't treat her like a nuisance. He didn't gawk at her. He didn't treat her like a child. He addressed her as a woman, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yes.
And then when we learn why he has that tenderness to him, guts. I'm just gutted. I'm just stab me. Oh my God.
Yeah, like, that was like a shot arrow to the chest.
That whole beginning scene in the book when they're in the shop though, and that horrible woman is like being so mean to her sister. I just wanted to jump through the book and be like, shut up.
Yeah.
Like, but then she throws the sugar and it's fine.
Oh yeah.
I love it.
Oops, I slipped.
Right? And I love how go.
No, I was gonna say, and the way she kind of brought that sugar part back all the way around at the very end was it her daughter Rose, and that she had some sugar on her, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I love it so much. I love how she brought that. Oh, so good.
I'm like, this is it. Just even with her father, I liked how they were both so observant of the other. So like, I liked how when he went there and he realized like this isn't a father at all. Like when the fact that now we know like his pain point, why that really bothered him. She bothered him, but why he just wasn't okay with like, with that situation. And oh my gosh, I loved how he was like, he's just willing to sell her off. And I could see how she was flinching, and it was just like, oh my gosh. And that promise. I loved the time too. I love a little like time situation, like a week to be wicked, like that week long. I have to be back here on Sunday morning for church because that's something my sister's gonna understand. Yeah. And I love how she kept bringing it back to that. And even when in the end through the HEA, when he's like proposing, he's like, we can have a room for her in his house. I was like, every house. I'm like, we about to be a Duchess. Every house. Oh my God, this is so sweet. Like, I I loved her sister and how he saw her. And then also too, like, I love how Pauline was just what he needed, but just what his mother needed. Like that's that his mother needed as well. And that I thought it was also very loving, because when they first come back to London and he sees like, this is giving my mother something to do, like someone to like pester, someone to teach, someone to like, you know, raise up, and how she's like gaslighting her. It was like a good, just like for both of them. I'm like, this is love. And how he like clocks Pauline's complexity of like being prideful and proud of who she is, but also wanting to learn and realizing that, you know, his mother is trying to help her, like that, like her accent, even though that's a whole conversation, but like she's trying to help her. I'm going to bring you to the wolves. I'm bringing you into like the Shark Tank, and I'm trying to prepare you, and this is why we do things the way that we do things. And I'm like, oh, this is so sweet. Like, it was just,
And I love that it was like the perfect amount of angst between Pauline and Griff. There was never a moment where I was like, this is getting to be too much, you know? Like, it was just like all perfectly paced and so well done. And just like Griff's character arc, his character development, like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Incredible. Like, I can't marry you. And I'm like, when are you going to be able to, sir? Because there was a point where I was like, dang, like, I'm like, she just kind of stepped off the ledge with her feelings for him. At first I was like, I need her to play. I wanted her to like withhold. And it's like, she just couldn't help it. Even though even though they kept saying like, this is temporary, and yet. And I just love that. Yes, the coins for church. I love how she was like, rich people problems. He's like, I don't have a penny. Like, I don't have I have no currency lower than this. I'm like, sir.
Okay. Must be hard.
Yeah. The transformation is like night and day. And his, you know, I've never read it, maybe a romance ever, but definitely not a historical before, with this kind of backstory for the hero, where like he wasn't excited about being a father. It was absolutely not the right situation, not the right time. But then as his mistress, you know, goes along in her pregnancy, he can't help but fall in love with this child. And I feel like you don't see stories too often where like a child dies in infancy, and like the kind of pain that would be to someone, and the fact that he didn't give a shit that she was going to be a bastard. He had this nursery that he was making for her, and he was going to raise her next to his chambers in his house. Like, I was crying. I was crying so hard reading all of that.
That whole scene though, when she discovers the nursery at first, she's like, do you have like a unicorn thing? Like,
that was great.
These paintings are great. They're great.
What can I say? What can I possibly say right now?
Right.
I was kind of cursing Tessa out, because I was like, how dare she make me laugh and then cut it with like, oh no, a younger woman, much younger woman. And I was like, what? I'm like, Tessa, what? I just started falling. Oh my God.
And then when he finally explains to his mother everything, and like,
yeah, and it like broke my heart too that she's been like really wanting a grandchild to spoil, and it broke my heart. Like, you have a grandchild, you just you never met her, and it breaks my heart.
Yeah.
What did y'all think though? I guess Tiffany, you were the only one that read this one for the first time. What did you think of like the scene in the beginning when he goes to this village and he goes to the cemetery and he puts flowers on this grave, and obviously it's not explained yet like what or who this is. Like, what did you think?
I thought I didn't know what to think, because I was like, why is this being placed here?
Yeah.
And then it kind of hit me later on, and I thought that like, it was definitely one of those things where I was like, what is she doing a thing? I don't like to see the seams in a book. I want to like feel like it's seamless and then go back. But I kept thinking like, what is this? But I liked that I did feel, I like telegraphing moments. So like in movies, films, and books, I want the beginning to show me something about the character that I'm going to follow. So with Pauline, I love how she was devotional to her sister. She was going to pay her last freaking dime that she was saving for them to get out of there to cover her sister in this way. So it gave me something interesting other than like the rake that has to be drugged.
Yeah.
To like be you know what I mean? I wanted something. I'm like, what else about him? Because at first he's not likable. Because I'm like, well, what do you think she's gonna do, woman? But that gave me like, okay, there's something about him that's hidden that I'm interested in. That's what I thought, and I kind of hung on to that because I was like, this is out of place. But I was kind of like savoring that because just from how we meet him, I'm like, well, am I even gonna like this guy? Am I gonna like this guy?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I thought it gave me like something interesting to hold on to so I could like watch it because she was stealing the show. And then I got, the father and everything like that. But at first I was like, I need something to like hold on to with him. So, but I didn't know what to make of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it's just so well done. I mean, I say this all the time, a book that can make me laugh and cry in one fell swoop and be a swoony and sexy romance. Like, come on, that scene where they role play. Are you?
Oh my god!
I love that. Yeah.
And I loved that it was like, oh, so you want to argue about our class difference? Okay.
Yes.
That was the sexiest end to a freaking argument. That so, and I'm like, this is graphic, Tessa. I slowed that thing down. I was like,
well, and then that's the scene where he, says all of his titles, and then he's like, and I'm your slave.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So good.
Wow.
So Mike.
Yeah, I was like, that was, we are not worthy.
Right?
He said us. I was like, and that was after Minerva and Colin came in there thinking that they were going to save her. And she's like, see, this is what I'm talking about. And he's like, lock that door. I really was shook in here. I was like, oh my God. It was so good. And that's what I'm talking about. So, like, that's going to be an exemplar scene if I can do it without giving too many spoilers away. If I ever do like a review, that's emotional, Steve. That scene was doing so much work. It wasn't just, I would not call that a spicy scene. That was emotional, Steve. Oh my God.
That's my favorite.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can get the emotion in the love scene. It is absolutely my favorite.
Yes.
Oh my God. That was.
I'll admit, sometimes, occasionally, if there's a love scene, I'll just be like, whatever, I'm not listening. Whatever. And with Tessa Dare, it's like always, you have to pay attention because plots move along, relationships really grow, which I just love it so much. I love it so much.
And she always says something like they're not cliche. Like the first book, like, this is my body and I'm choosing to share it with you. I was like, oh, okay.
I love that. I love that so much.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, like that's the first time I started like being like, okay, I really gotta like these are doing work. I love it.
Yeah. I love it.
How about his friend?
Oh,
I'm like, this is
well, but like, dude, stop when you're not
well,
wanted.
and it's also a good it's also a good callback to who he used to be. Like, yes, this guy does mean well, but like this is a different set of people that he was hanging out with.
Yeah,
that's a good
and like hosting these like orgies at that estate that Minerva and Colin show up at, and like just a completely different life. And then how his relationship with his mistress and then his daughter and everything just completely changed everything.
Yeah, his friend gave me the ick. It was giving incel. It was giving Chad. It was I love that. It was like a historical version of like, and you're right. And in his mind, he's doing the right thing for his friend, but it does go to show, like it's funny. I was like, this is, and I think she she wrote him in a way to where, like, from his perspective, like you said, like, he was doing the right thing, like, out of nowhere, like, what's going on, dude? Like, you love this girl? You know what I mean? It's like, she wrote a historical version of that man. I'm like, sorry that we brought him into today. You know, we all know one. But I just, like, I'm like, with the reps. So there, the scenes that made me angry, I also was, like, snapping my fingers. I'm like, you tell it, Tessa.
Yeah.
That's all of the ick. And read it for filth. I love the social commentary. I think this wove so many things together. I was like, wow. And I love how he, like, is putting it the way that you're talking about it, Rachel, how he confronts his past. And he's like, he will address her correctly, apologize. Yeah. And how am I taking this long to mention the pretty woman moment? The pretty woman moment when they go back to the shop.
I love that. I loved that.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for this list. I will be taking it elsewhere.
Can I make a recommendation? No, you may not. No, you may not. This is what we want. I'm like, this is so great.
It was so good.
And you like know too when you first read the first scene, which is in that bookshop, and the bookstore owner is like, nope, get out. Like you cannot be in here. Like, you know, it's gonna come full circle. Like, you just know. Yeah. I was so looking forward to that. I think the first time I read it, I was like, when he was saying like, oh, we're at the bookstore, or at a bookstore, sorry. I was like, oh, we're about to get like the most epic, like, FU scene ever.
Well, and we also always love a hero who just gets so angry when the heroine isn't treated well. Like, he gets so angry at the dad at the beginning, even when he doesn't really know Pauline at that point. And then, like, as things go along and people are mistreating her, and just, the rage. We love to see it.
I love him. I honestly think he might be my favorite hero. I love Colin, but, like, I think he's my favorite hero. This is my favorite book in the series. Yeah. I love this one.
It's mine. Yeah, it's mine too. I think Colin and Griff are two very different heroes, but, like, if just his character arc alone,
which is what I love. I love how one can grow and, like, develop that soft emotional side to them. Like, I adore seeing that.
It's definitely a top tier. It's so funny. Like, I'm like, how am I getting all these top books in this series? It's definitely a top tier, like, reformed Rake book.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
This is that book.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, like, Rake with a heart of gold. Cause, like, throughout the whole book, he keeps saying that he's, like, not a good person. And, like, you know, blah, blah, his past before, you know, his daughter and everything, that he did all these terrible, or whatever he did in his past. And it takes Pauline to, like, make him realize, like, you're not a terrible person. Like, you do have generosity, you do have compassion, you do have love, like, all of that, you know. And I love that trope. Rake with heart of gold.
That whole when they're in the orphanage and he's helping the little boy and he, like, gives him his hat, like, he's like, dude, give me that ugly thing on your head. You can have my
Yes. That his mother made, I'm sure.
Yes.
Like,
the orphanage moments. I loved the moment where she punches him and uses it as a teaching moment. Because I'm like, that's what I'm talking about in a historical. Because I was like, I love that. This ain't no lady. She's not a lady. I love her. She's not a lady. And when he insults her, I love how she's like, boom, get your licks in when you can, kid. And I'm like, oh my God, I love that whole scene. And he's like, after she just walks off, and he's like, where did this woman come from? He apologizes right away. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, like, I think it's that same scene where then he hears a baby cry. And then, like, he has to leave. Like, the grief is too much. Like, Tessa dear, how can you do this to me? I'm laughing my ass off.
I was
a few pages later, I am gutted. Like, oh my God.
That's why I was like, this is 5 stars. I was cursing her out. I was like, I was getting whiplash.
Yeah.
I read these, like, you know, a couple days ago. I was binging them. So I was just all like, I was just kind of like drowning in it. At one point I was driving and I was like, we need to get home. So I had like, what the fuck? I realized, like, I cannot drive and like do this. She was just killing me.
She does I think the same thing where it's like the whiplash scene when you have Pauline and like the whole household confessing secrets.
Oh my god!
Yes, that was so great. I love that scene. Oh, that was so good.
Yeah. The lady's maid is like, I'm not French. Like,
oh, I love that so much.
And then like the scene, which it reminds me of the scene where she's playing the water glasses, and the servants are immediately like loyal to her because he does the douchey, like slow clap thing, and then they immediately like hate his guts, and he even says something like, "Wait, you've been working for me for years. I've been paying you well. Like, what the hell?"
days, like the betrayal.
Just like that.
That's one of my favorite things in historical, or like really in romance, where you get like that, like the new like lady of the manor when all the servants fall in love with her and they're on her side, and if she was treated poorly or anything is ticking to the wrong side of the romance, that they make him have it. I love that. I love that book. Yeah, it's my favorite.
It's such a good book. I love it.
There's so many moments, so many different scenes, so many moments, like. Because now that we're talking about, like, there's just more and more things that keep popping into my head that happened in this one book. Like,
yes.
I'm like, this is so. It's just so good. It
is really good. Yeah. Do we want to switch way? Oh, yeah. Tiffany,
one of my favorite lines though, when her like the last lesson that his mom gives her, and she's like, you know what makes a duchess? Marrying a duke. That was it. And she was like, that was like the ultimate, like, I accept you. Like I was like, oh my god, I'm blubbering. That was like the woman of propriety. I just like love when she said that to her. You just need to.
Yeah, I mean the way that this one wrapped up, because what was it like? They separated for a few months, right? Because she was able to like establish the library bookstore. And then he comes, you know, he does come and find her a few months later, and I loved how that all wrapped up. It was just so sweet, so well done.
Yeah, I agree.
And I did love seeing them in the last novella because I wasn't expecting the whole gang was there.
Yes, I love that. I love that.
Me, this novella is just like an extended epilogue for like everybody.
It reminded me of have all of y'all read the Wallflower series by Lisa Kleypas?
Yeah, Wallflower Christmas. Is that what you're talking about?
It reminded me of a Wallflower Christmas because you get to see all of the couples again, but then you get a new couple on top of that.
Yes. So. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah, good comparison.
I loved it. Yeah, I love that. Well, let's talk about it. Let's do
it. Lord Dashwood or Lord Ashwood missed out.
What was everyone's rating? If you read it, I always love to see what the chat thinks. What did you guys rate?
Oh yeah, what did everybody think?
I mean, I gave it 4 stars both the first time and this time around. Yeah, I mean, it's so enjoyable, and I love that Pauline and Griff specifically got their own storyline. While we also featured literally all the other couples as well. And
iconic.
I mean, yeah, it's such a fun little novella. You get these really funny scenes like frickin' Colin and the boys. The Lords of Perdition.
Did anybody else notice that her husband left determined this morning? I was like, oh my god. I rated it 4 stars as well. I rated this one 4 stars.
Me too.
Although, like, I was talking about how I gave, Dawes. I would just pick calling it Dawes because I loved him. 5 stars, feel good stars. This one I loved. I loved that we had a bit of adventure. We had things to figure out. We had all the gang there. I still rated it 4 stars, like their romance, But I had a lot of fun with it. Like I just loved seeing everybody, and it was absolutely hilarious. And I loved. You're right. It felt like an extended epilogue too, because like Griff was like, I need a hero. I need a hero moment. I loved how they were in love and everything was set up and they were in the routine. And it was like a moment for him to just bring some more magic into the mix. Like he left Sherry. She's supposed to be hosting this like book event where, and I liked the heroine was a writer and she used her past pain to kind of needle at her ex that, you know, not her ex. She wished it would have been her. Yeah. It's like her brother's, at first I'm like, okay, brother's best friend, that sort of jilted her. And then when you learn the story, I'm like, again, Tessa, the loss, her, you know, she lost her brother. And I'm like, this is just getting too deep. But I did like that we got more Pauline, and we got more Griff, and like this was his way to like, I've got to procure the author and get this Sherry and fix it and get back on track. And then you find out like what he was hiding. Like their marriage is just so sweet. And that all the friends, you know, like the men of Spindle Cove. I had fun.
Well, and it's so funny because if there was any note that I had for any Duchess Will Do, is that we didn't get a moment in the epilogue between Griff and Daniela, and then she gives it to us in this.
Yes,
like what we talked about with like their routine, because Daniela needs her routines.
Yeah,
and so he always kisses her hand and like.
I know. Yes, I know. I love it. I love it so much.
For me, I actually gave it 3.5 stars. It's not my favorite. Like on it, it's the romance with the new couple specifically. I don't really care for the hero. I don't really care.
He is a little bit of an ass.
Yes, and that's the type of hero. I do not prefer the alpha asshole ones. Like I don't. So like,
Me too.
I love Denora, and I love like the old couples. It's just the hero that I was like, I wish you could have been a different dude, but it's fine.
Yeah, had we not had the whole gang, it would have been 3 stars for me because there were moments where I was like actually angry again. Listening to audiobooks while driving, where I'm like, hold on, let me wait till I get to work. Because I was like, how dare he ask her, well, how did you feel? Reenact the moment. Tell me how you felt. I'm like, how do you feel, sir? We don't even, hold up. We don't even know how you feel. Do you have to care? Share with her. You need to declare some things to her. And I like how that was wrapped up in the end. But I'm like, why is she doing all of this like vulnerability and sharing her feelings and exposing herself? She's been doing that. She's been doing that on the page. Yeah. That's why we're and we're prolific. How about you, sir? I was like getting upset because I'm like, he's pleading for her or like making her do all these declarations. And I'm like, she doesn't even know where your head is at. It was incredibly brave of her. I loved the heroine. I had no problem. I was like, what is this? But I did love how she made him look like a buffoon when she is rescued and he's running out with his shirt open, pants falling.
Yes.
Who is this guy?
Well, and she puts him on blast in the bookshop at the end. She's like, you got to do better than that, boy. Come on.
That was good. I love that. I mean, he just seemed manipulative. That when I found out that he paid for all those things to fall in line so he could get her.
I don't care.
I did not like that.
Like all the lying got to me too. I was like, if you can lie in that span of a time, like what? Like,
and then I got really confused because she always writes such beautiful love scenes, and then in their love scene, he's like, I guess I should have tried harder or something. I'm like,
I mean, I appreciate a virgin hero, but
I didn't feel.
And we find that out later
that he was a virgin hero. Like when you read about virgin heroes, you're like I feel like it's explained way better, and that's the reason why I love virgin heroes so much is because they have their specific reasons. I feel like whatever his name, George. I was like, I don't see why. Honestly, why you were like?
I think it's because of her pamphlet, maybe.
That's what I don't want to catch disease, and I didn't have anybody getting me out of my squabbles. It was like,
that's true.
Okay, it was very. Anyway, I'm like, I'm a man. I'm a duke. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It was like a little bit.
He was a douche.
Like you said, I mean, he was a bit of an ass for sure. I definitely, my favorite parts of this absolutely were the scenes with the whole gang and like this being like an extended epilogue of the series thus far. And like, oh my God, like the 4 guys getting into like that bar fight and like.
I wish we got No, on page. Like we just get some After Effects. I wanted that whole scene on page, but it's fine. It's okay.
Lord Dashwood is nothing. I love that too. Like how
She's like,
yeah.
Nothing to do with one another. You don't know what you're talking about. Like,
it was very like I'm worldly. I could have been talking about somebody else. Excuse you. You know,
and what did he say? Didn't he say he was going to write something about her, but it wasn't going to be Browning. It's going to be Miss Rowning or whatever. Yeah. What was it? Like he took a letter off. I'm going to write something myself.
Or he's like, I have to save you from the snow, or it's going to show up in that pamphlet. Like, she's so upset.
Like you didn't already plan this whole thing, dude. Like,
oh my gosh, that gobsmacked me. Yeah, I didn't think that was. Can we just? So that's when I was like, okay, he was devoted to her, but sir, come on now. He was just asking for. I think
he's probably my least favorite Tessa hero, and I haven't read both of her like first published series. I've only read book 1 in like the horse series that she's written, and I didn't really care for that hero too. So like that guy and this one are probably my 2 least favorite heroes that I've read so far.
The horse, is that the stud club?
Yes.
Okay. I've read Goddess of the Hunt.
Club with horses.
Yeah. I've only read Goddess of the Hunt, and that's book 1 in one of those series. One of the
other series. It's her first series, I think. I think Goddess of the Hunt is her first series.
Yeah, and that hero was just okay in that one. So that's another reason why I just wanted to start with Spindle Cove, because I was like, I don't want to like slough through like okay books by her. Like, I just wanna.
I feel you, girl. Yes. I feel you. Because I just have been having such a great time. Like, I like how it's plotted. I don't feel like I've been overwhelmed with the reading either, to be honest. Because it was funny because when we got to this, I didn't know that this last book that we're talking about was a novella. I was like, okay, shoo, we got another 5 hours. Let's do this. And I'm like, oh, this is great. So, and they're just a delight. Like, these last 3 have been so much fun, and then like also hard hitting. Like, I'm like, these just keep going up. So I had a really great time with this last block. And yes, him putting her on his maps.
That was sweet. That was sweet.
That was so cool.
Coming so for her, that was sweet. That was sweet.
It was sweet, but it didn't have the same effect to me if he didn't do all the lying and stuff.
Well, and she even said like, oh, okay, you named some things after me. Like, she's like, I need more. I mean,
they're not even real things.
I love Nora. I love her.
You named nothing after me.
That's right. So you named nothing after me? That's what you did?
I love her. She saved it for me. She saved it for me. And then, like, you know, the gang was all together. And then the way that he gets the sherry, like, that ridiculous.
Yeah, that was great.
I can't.
I feel so bad for him because he's like beating himself up when he first gets home. When he sees Pauline and she's cleaning up the store, he goes, "I haven't seen you in days. Hello, like hi." And she goes, "Well, where's my alcohol?" I don't. And he's like, "Oh no, crap! I forgot."
I love that at the end, like they have this a really cute reconciliation, and she's like, I don't give a shit about that. I'm sorry that I like, you know, put too much pressure on you.
Sweet. I'm like, it was so exemplary. I'm like, yeah, like there's time. This is like time, a snapshot of time in their marriage, and they're still in love, and it's very real. Like she's super busy, and he's like, oh, and then him saying, I want you to sit for a portrait. And when she talks about like how she grew up and how there was a beautiful line about like how she grew up, like her family spent time making memories. She spent time making memories with her kids, not painting, you know, portraits. It's not something that she could fathom. Like that's the kind of Dutch she is, and him saying like, I want you to sit for a painting. Like it's for me. It's not, I'm like, oh, I was like, this is so, like the lockets. I'm like, sir, like you need a hero moment. You were already on one. It's just ridiculous.
I could read a whole like slice of life novella of just the two of like just their marriage. Like absolutely.
Yeah, I love them. And the type of like how she does her, how she is a duchess. Because I love even when like Nora bows for her, she's like, I'm never gonna get used to this. Like I'm never gonna get used to this. Like this is so weird. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
So good.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think if he really wanted her, he would have come for her sooner.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wasted time on manipulations to see her, and then trying to be so sure. Does she like me? Sir, if you want to be an alpha, let's step to the plate. Okay. Why is she being called to do all of the damn work?
Okay? Right.
Yeah, this is true.
I like an alpha that's like especially. I think it's really easy to clock when you're in something like a billionaire romance, or we're in a historical and it's like a real alpha duke that's like, coercing the heroine. I think like heroes that are like that, but it's always those coercive heroes that are difficult to read, I guess, that I can bank on them because they're very forward with their feelings. What do you want? Jewelry? What? You're worried about going to work? I'll pay your rent for the year. They're just very upfront about, I want you. I'm willing to do whatever it takes for you to figure out that this is happening.
Yeah.
Or like, I like that approach. If it was like, no, like, but the sneaking around, it was just very, is it alpha? Because that was very beta to me.
It was slimy.
It was very, I don't know, like, I don't know quite how to describe him as a hero, actually, because I don't think I would describe him as an alpha. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
He comes off a bit rakish, but clearly he wasn't.
Not a rake.
So, like, I don't know. I'm not sure.
He's not a rake.
Not a rake. You're not a rake.
know. He like pissed me off too because I hate men who gaslight. Like, it ticks me off. And I felt like he was very, very gaslighty throughout this whole book. And there's even a point where he's like, well, I shouldn't have, like, there's a reason why I didn't come for you sooner. Like, we wouldn't be the people we are today if, like, I didn't. And I was like, he's like, you never would have gotten so popular and written all these essays and, like, become a wonderful writer if I didn't leave you. Like,
wow, you're
welcome.
So right.
So if I didn't treat you like shit, you wouldn't have the career that you have now.
Audacity.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, dude. Like, that's why I love too. It's like when I started reading historicals and I'm like, ooh, like they own their title of scoundrel. I'm a scoundrel. I'm a rake. I don't want anything to do with this marriage market. I want debauchery. I'm gonna be at the gambling hell. I'm gonna be up in this club. Like, I love how they're just like they're very front and forward. They own that.
Yeah.
You know, and he was just too. I don't know. You're right. I don't know what to call him. But the gang saved it, and she was just a delightful heroine. And I love what she brought to other women. Like, you know, I think her story was really telling too. It's like, you don't have to sit around pining for like these men, you know, like he missed out. Like, you're the treasure. So many women loved that dang pamphlet. I loved her.
It's so perfect for Spindle Cove. If they're going to have a visiting offer, that's the woman to invite.
Exactly.
Right there.
Yes.
And there must be Sherry. You have to get
That's right.
I loved it. I had so much fun with these last three. But
and we're officially done with our first series.
Yay!
I was telling and Tiffany, Rachel, before you popped on, like, we're still waiting on number 5. Like, we're still waiting on number 5 because Love Letters from a Lord is supposed to be about Sally Bright, and that one.
Well, I mean, do you want to start a scandal as a crossover?
Yes. Because it's Charlotte, right?
Charlotte's romance, and then the hero.
I was hoping that.
Yes. Charlotte, and then a hero that we meet in the Castles Ever After series.
We meet him.
I'm excited about that. I've never done like a crossover.
And
it's fun. It's a fun one.
Yeah, I think that's her only crossover book too, because I've read a few romance authors where they love to cross over their series, Ruby Dixon being one of them. That's why I have to read them in order.
But like, does it too?
Yes. Because like Cam Rohan.
Yeah.
Hello. What am I thinking? Yeah. You don't see it that often then. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm excited though. That'll be fun.
But we finished our first series.
Yay!
Did you say something, B? Sorry. Let me tell you all about it again. No, I was just saying Do you want to start a scandal? Is that book 4 in Castles Ever After, but
Yes.
5 for Spindle Cove?
Yes. So it could be either or on Goodreads. It's like listed in both series if you click on the series in Goodreads. So
it is best to do it at the end of Castles Ever After.
I think the way Rachel laid it out, I think that was a good choice to read it after Castles Ever After, because then you'll know both characters by the end of it. You know, like if you read it now, if you would have read it now, you wouldn't have really known who that hero was, Piers, in that series. So
is that how Tessa Dare wrote it, like chronologically? Did she
I'm pretty sure, yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's also kind of how I tried to do it. I'm pretty sure. Because like Ava was saying, like, you know, you really do need to be introduced to the hero in some way. And so that's what one of these books will do.
Yeah.
I'm
excited.
I really am. I've been having so much.
Our next 2 books.
Woo!
I love the Castles Ever After series. I think that one is so underhyped too. Like,
this is a wonderful Beauty and the Beast retelling.
But ability representation, the hero's blind. The hero's blind. Like, I love that one.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
And then in the second one, you have like an underground, like historical MMA fighter, kind of. Like, it's so cool.
Oh, that!
I can't wait.
Isn't there LARPing in that?
She's a plus size heroine. Doesn't show it on the cover.
Doesn't show it on the cover. And it's I'm engaged to the hero's brother.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, exciting. Oh, fun.
I need to get the live show populated. I think that's on the what's that? July
2nd.
The 2nd.
July 2nd.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very
is that a step back? Is that a step back for Romancing the Duke? Oh, I want to see.
Oh,
I doesn't have one.
Oh, I just got the Marquis one the other day randomly at a bookstore. I was so excited. Anna has a step back.
Yeah, I got this one off eBay. That's the only way that I could get. Yeah, that's the only way that I could get.
Yeah,
a copy with the gold font and
mine is black.
I know. I was like, Amazon, what are you doing?
No, you can barely read it on the cover.
You can't read it. Yeah,
you can't read it. But like, it was a gift to somebody, so like they did it.
Oh,
I love a meadow shot.
One of my favorites.
Yes.
And again, missed opportunity that the heroine is not plus size on the cover. Like,
I know. They should have done that. They should have done that.
I know.
Wow. I can't wait.
Well,
tonight. I'm going to do that next. Oh, I'm so excited.
Do it. Okay. Thank y'all so much for joining us. Be sure to be updated on all of our Instagrams to see our next live show and the date and time and everything. And yeah, we're gonna be reading those 2 books next. But thank y'all so much for joining. Oh, before I click off, there are more comments. Sorry.
Yay!
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Oh,
thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Thank y'all.
Oh, this is great. This is so great.
Oh, I'm excited. Okay. This is my first time.
Okay, well, thank y'all so much for watching. We will see y'all in the next one.
Bye.